UNPAVED, Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
Sean Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.
To me, Tom Brady is the GOAT because he's done more with less than any player at that position we've ever had.
All right, guys, welcome into UNPAVED. I'm Sean Salisbury. Adam Sager along as well, Adam G. Sager on Twitter. I'm at Sean Unfiltered. Like and subscribe. We love it, and we appreciate it, and we definitely appreciate your consistent helping us grow and being a part of this. And thank you for everybody that always chimes in every single day. All right, Sags, when you make a bet, I think we all like the challenge, right?
Right.
First off, let me preface this as we get into this story. Texas Tech Red Raiders has nothing to do with the feelings, how we feel about you. Right. Not that I should even have to qualify that. But well, it has nothing to do. Matter of fact, I have overemphasized how good Texas Tech has risen and what they're doing with NIL and how important it's been. But Sags, when you go to bet, I think we all like a challenge. Sometimes you'll bet on a game that you wouldn't normally watch to keep your interest. I get that. But why do you bet? In truth, challenge us. But what is the main reason if I'm betting on a horse at the Kentucky Derby, or betting on somebody like a Kalshi bet, betting on a futures bet or prediction? Am I doing it for shits and giggles, or am I doing it? What would you do it for, Say?
Just like you said, a little bit of action, a little bit of getting my interest in the game.
Little pride with your buddies, little fight, little games, right?
Have that fun. Especially if you're going opposite of some buddies you're watching the game with, so you have kind of that fiery, a
little dig at your friends, even if you were rooting for everybody. Right, sure.
But in the end, I bet to make money.
Okay. When a billionaire or a millionaire or somebody in business invests money and starts a business, a coffee shop, a bakery, or whatever, a car dealership, because they wanted to do, let's say they were in a completely different career, even though that doesn't apply here, what we're about to talk about, but in a completely different career. And they went from, like, hell, I've been in sports radio and doing this for a long time. Mm-hmm. I'm ready for, this is never going away. Don't miss this podcast and that part of it. But like in local radio, take a decent situation for me to want to do it. I got other things. You know my love for the golf apparel business and the rest of it. So there's other things that I'm putting my resume together to get out there and get out of that local radio completely, even though I loved it and I'm so grateful to be in Houston. I'm just looking for a new challenge. Makes sense? In sales and doing all that. So, but, okay, so you look to stay busy. But do you think I'm taking on this challenge to work for free? No, I wouldn't take on the challenge to work free. It's a challenge, but I want to work and I want to build something why'd I go get a master's? To live up to the promise I made with my family. Yep. And I don't even know if it'll ever apply anywhere, but quite frankly, and it may be overrated getting one, but I lived up to that promise. But also, you do it to fuel if an opportunity comes up and say, you got to have a master's degree, at least it's there, right? That's the situation, whether it's an athletic director, whether it's an executive vice president for some sales staff or corporate partnerships, whatever it is. But when I gamble, Sags, just like you, I'm not building a business because it's a hobby, because billionaires don't stay billionaires when they give money away, hence the Live Golf Tour, okay, that is losing money. That's why they get out. It's the same thing here. Eventually, if you're gambling and betting $10, I don't care the size. It's the gateway to bigger bets, because what happens when you're losing? The majority of folks don't know how to stop. They chase money. I'm not saying they're addicted, but you'll chase it until you catch back up, break even, and say, I'm done. Or you keep betting.
If you win a bunch, you start betting bigger. Yeah,
because, man, I'm an expert. Shit. Yes. You win about 53% of the time in betting, 50% of the time. You're gold mine, dude. You're a gold mine if you'd ever go broke taking the profit, which why they build hotels and all that stuff and air-conditioned casinos. But in this case, Sags, and you got the story, This is the most fascinating. It is the most, I mean, maybe not of all time, but the way they're approaching this with Brendan Sorsby at Texas Tech with his gambling and the verbiage is mind-boggling and, quite frankly, just sheer out stupidity. And the judge in this says, which I know you're going to read, undergrad Texas Tech, law school Texas Tech. There is absolutely no conflict of interest there.
Yeah.
Share this story with him because Brendan Sorsby is suing the NCAA to play this year.
Yeah, he's suing to expedite the decision because basically he has until June 27th to file the paperwork to enter the supplemental NFL draft, which would take place probably sometime in late July, which would allow him to get possibly selected by a team, and then he can get on the roster, get into training camp, and get under his NFL career. So court documents that have been revealed say that Sorsby was betting on a wide-ranging amount of sports. Sean, we're talking Turkish basketball league. We're talking Romanian soccer games. We're talking obscure doubles tennis matches and the all-famous Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest.
Okay, Seg, let me stop you right there real quick.
All right.
As you're going to go forward with this language and what they're saying. If you're betting on a Turkish basketball game, you don't fucking have a clue who the players are.
Exactly.
You've never watched a game. You had somebody told you you're looking at the odds, and somebody told you bet on this. I know people who used to bet the CFL, even though they didn't know much because they were making money on it. On the two, they were just making so they stayed with it. A buddy of mine, and he started making money, and he stayed there, bet there more than they did the NFL. If you don't know anything about it, you ain't betting it for fun because you can't even follow the shit. You don't even know what you're following. You can't pronounce one of the cats' names that's playing, and you want to bet on it.
You just wait for the game to end to see if you won.
Right. That's exactly why. Because you want to see the extra $10 or $1,000 or whatever it was. The price doesn't matter. So go back to reading this, but you can't defend stupidity. Sorsby and his lawyer are full of about 8 different kinds of bullshit on this case. I'm sure he's a good guy and the rest of it. I'm not dogging him for gambling. I like to bet too. But they're full of shit. The fact that the fact that somebody's actually going to buy into this, don't tell me about the NCAA and NFL and pro sports being hypocritical. They are when it comes to betting. 100%. We know that. That's for another conversation. But this language in some of this is so laughable that a 4-year-old will look at it and say, stop it. Just fucking stop it. Okay?
He went on to say in these affidavits that the reason for betting was not to make money. The reason he bet on his own team at Indiana was to, let me get this correct, stay connected to the team, Sean. Okay, you were a freshman. You're sitting there, top recruit in the country. You come in, maybe not playing right away, and you're like, I got to feel connected to the team. You know what? Let me throw some bets down. That'll keep me connected to the team. I mean, that's the most insane part of this thing, that they're trying to spin it this way. And everything's just meant to be a spin to try and get his eligibility back so we can play for Texas Tech. That was a playoff team last year, and it gives him a shot to win a national championship, which will then raise his draft stock. He can be in the Heisman talk, raise his draft stock, hopefully. So but the way you spin this when you're betting on your own team is to stay connected. To me, if you're an NFL team, doesn't that raise a big red flag?
Well, then if he loses this and ends up going into the supplemental draft, I'd have a hard time of taking him because I think this shit's not going to stop. He'll continue to do it at the NFL level. He'll be out and gone forever. Because the biggest sin, the most unforgivable sin in pro sports right now, even with all the betting, has been over the course of time. Sadly, hitting a woman can get you back quicker than betting on a sporting event.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, selling drugs can get you back quicker than betting on a sporting event. So there's severity of it. And is it hypocritical considering they're making billions off it? Sure, I get it, but I'm a bettor. So I get it. We can argue hypocritical, like I said, all we want. Says with this, I know how people spin it in the language to get people thinking different. But if I'm a jury, if I was on this, or the judge, Texas Tech grad under and law school, again, no conflict of interest there. It gets to the point where you can overspin it to the point where you guys can't be serious. You can't be serious. I'm going to give Sorsby just a little idea on how to stay connected to your team. All that NIL money, take them out and buy them dinner. You're at the age now. Go have yourself a beer if you drink beer. Go have a soda. I don't care. Go buy them an ice cream cone. I don't give a shit what you do. Go take them out. Take them to a ball game. Take them on a trip, to a beach trip where you guys can throw in the sand and then you can hang out together and build camaraderie with your linemen or receivers. Yeah. If you want to stay connected in Indiana, I got a good idea. Pay attention to what's going on the board. Practice. Put your uniform on and go do what everybody else does. Can you imagine if this gets thrown out? I mean, if he wins this and he is eligible to play college football, that the joke and the mockery of, well, why'd you bet $10,000, Joe or whoever, Mike or Steve, on this game? Well, I wanted to stay connected to my team, and I figured betting on my team. I'm a freshman. I wasn't getting any time. I'm the backup scout quarterback. And so I needed to stay connected because as if being around him all the time in class and on the practice field and meeting him wasn't enough. I bet $10,000 on our team to win because, well, I needed to stay connected. Do you realize what this opens up? Do you know what that opens up, though, for any other gambling? Once you open this door,
exactly,
the floodgates are done, dude.
And
when you're using this language, come on now, son.
Here's his exact quote about betting on Indiana while he was a player. I rationalized placing those bets as a way to feel more connected to the team, to root for my friends, and to feel like I had a real stake in the games that I otherwise was not involved in. He later added, because the Indiana football team was not a very strong competitor in 2022, I lost most of the bets I placed.
But I thought it wasn't about the money, Sigs. It's not about making money. You didn't bet for money.
Exactly. It's just so, I mean.
You can't have somebody this dumb leading my program if that is the truth. If that's how
even
really
when
thinks.
you read it and you're kind of like, this is stupid. Then when we're sitting here talking about it back and forth, it gets even dumber.
Worse.
Every single sentence we say.
And then he uses the word stake. Yeah. Great. The stakes of the game. Stake in his language. Somebody should have read that and proofread and said, maybe we just won't use that word. But I got my stake in the game and I wanted to bet on my team. If the teammates and you were tight and you went up to him and said, hey, man, I'm going to drop 10%. He ain't the only one who knew. I'm just telling you. We all have somebody we turn to, girlfriend, family member, teammate, and say, hey, man, I'm going to drop $1,000 on you this week. We're not very good, but I stay close to you. If you're a good teammate, you say, dude, it will catch up to you. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't be that dumb. So this is the lamest. I get why the kid wants to play. Like I said, I'm sure he's a good enough kid. But this couldn't be any more low IQ try to win than you've ever seen in your life. This is just, and if they allow him to play, regardless of the betting hypocrisy in sports, on this isolated situation, compartmentalized situation, and then looking what will happen if he does get to play. And this is the language he's used. And you're saying, well, let's put you on the stand. Well, yeah, I just want to stay connected to my team. And every kid in the college sports who makes a bet wanted to stay connected to his team because now we have precedents. They go back and, hey, remember the case on the June 2026 case? Open up their files and said, yeah, well, he played that year and actually won the Heisman Trophy and got paid more NIL money. He benefited from betting. He gets to go play, wins the Heisman Trophy, and got more NIL money. And then he ended up being the late first-round pick in the NFL draft.
Yeah, and had a better draft stock, which made more money.
Oh, okay, so that's cool. I'm going to do that same thing.
Yeah.
So, no, and I can't believe that, and I don't want to hear one person tell me, and I know most lawyers or, doctors and lawyers, professionals, I'd like to think have integrity. But if you just look at our country now, from politicians to doctors to the guys who are giving people shots they shouldn't be given with that aren't registered doctors to lawyers that, listen, if we're going to sit here and give credit and let a guy who is I think that he's an undergraduate and graduate, I believe the judge who's going to.
Yes, Judge Philip Hayes. Yes.
He is a graduate of undergraduate law school at Texas Tech. the fact that they think anybody can be objective about this, objection, Your Honor, counselor, is, well, he's got integrity. I want you, don't sell me that load of shit. He may have all the integrity in the world, but the presence of him there, just like trying to overcome something you did and gain trust back, nobody in the world is going to think you can be an objective judge, because human nature and decisions come into play.
Yeah.
If I got the final vote at USC and I'm on the committee, as much as I like to say integrity, and I'm harder on my Trojans, and my final vote is the one to either get him in the playoff or keep him at home, and I'm the athletic director at USC, would you question my motives?
Yeah.
You absolutely would.
Yes.
It is. You're telling
Doesn't
me
matter who it is.
That's it. You got to pass that up. That is a direct conflict of interest. Well, he put his hand on the Bible. Yeah, well, guess what? A lot of people have done that.
Yeah.
And like, just like you said, we would never get divorced till death do us part. You get
Right.
divorced and have to pay 50% either way forever. Okay, so save it. And I don't want to hear it. He shouldn't be on it. This language that Sorsby used is absolutely, it's almost a mockery and embarrassment, the fact that that's what they're going with. And do not be shocked if he's playing after this, which would even make it even more of a mockery to say, I cannot believe this is where we've gotten to at this point. I'm sure Texas Tech wants to. God bless them. I get it. Their other quarterback's pretty damn good. But this is, you got to have something better than that I wanted to stay connected to my team, and that I wasn't betting to make money, but I'm betting on Turkish basketball. The hell out of here. Save it. Jeez.
So
I may be dumb, but I ain't stupid. I wasn't born yesterday, and you can't pee in my face and tell me it's raining. I know what the smell of urine smells like. Okay, I got dogs that piss in my backyard.
We already have an instance where, remember last year with Charles Bediako, the big guy that had played in the G League, was drafted and then tried to come back and play for Alabama. Remember, the first time he was cleared and able to play and did play a few games, it was an Alabama graduate judge who was the first one to say, yes, you can play. And then there was an appeal, I think, by the NCAA that got put out there. And then I think it went all the way to the Alabama Supreme Court. And that's when they turned him down. So it's insane how we've got another story right now of RJ Luis, who was drafted a few years back by the Celtics, played in the G League, did all that. Well, now he's committed back to playing at LSU for Will Wade, who's trying to do this with multiple guys. And the first tweet I see is, oh, this will get passed once they find the right judge to put it in front of.
You mean the one who's a favorite towards LSU?
Yes, basically saying, where can we find an LSU graduate or a hardcore fan of LSU that is a judge in the state of Louisiana that will push this through so this kid and or more can play for the LSU Tigers next year?
Sags, that Sorsby just wanted to feel close to he wanted to feel close to the cricket team that he doesn't know anything about, or the soccer team in some place that he's never watched, or the Romania, right? Or the
he couldn't
Turkish
even point out
team
Romania on a fucking map.
Thank you. Yeah, or where Poland is, or anything else. Okay, yeah, that reminds me of when people were during like COVID were stealing and knocking down windows and stealing everything. People just let them come in and out. It still happens. Or this team thing where they're going in and just beating on people and nobody's holding them accountable. All they want is a loaf of bread, Sigs. All that Sorsby wants is to feel close to his teammates.
Hey,
that's how this started.
He had to bet on Joey Chestnut or Kobayashi in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest because he needed to feel more connected to him.
He needed to feel close to a hot dog.
And he needed to have that stake in a game that he's just not involved in.
Right. He wanted to feel tight. He wanted to feel like he mattered.
Yeah,
like he was making a difference in the game.
Eating contest, but he couldn't make it, so he wants to feel like he's part of it.
Yeah, because Joey Chestnut gave two shits about doggone Sorsby's bet. So I think and you're right about the whole other conversation. The playing for the Celtics to come back and they're going to let him in. When can we? We have emergency meetings in Congress and politics and sports all the time. Matter of fact, we changed NIL and the transfer portal overnight. Yeah. Literally overnight. We woke up
Congress has something going for this basic scenarios of professionals coming back and so on.
And I never liked politics in sports anyway, but sometimes you got to save sports from themselves at times, yet we got to save politicians from themselves too. But saying in this case is, why can't we throw an emergency meeting and say, listen, get them all together. Here's what's going to happen. He is not playing. He's played professional football. There used to be a time when you filed with an agent. When you filed with an agent after your college career, if you filed with an agent in the fall time and you were a basketball player and you'd be ineligible for the tournament.
Yeah.
In college, but you couldn't play in a tournament. You had to wait till your eligibility was up till you could hire an agent to do it. Now, hire him anytime you want. Fine. I understand the rules change to find out where you sit. But the fact that we're letting guys who've played in the NBA or in the G League or overseas against Europeans for 5 or 6 years and come back at 26, 27 years old and say, oh, he's still got some college eligibility. Well, I didn't play baseball in college, sakes. Can I go back and play because I really wanted to play, but I blew out my knee twice? Can I go say? Obviously, I wouldn't make it now, but you get my point. And I know that's apples to oranges, but the fact that, well, it's for the kids. Now, screw those kids. He ain't a kid. He's a grown-ass man who's used his eligibility up and played pro sports. He doesn't get to go back and take a scholarship or a spot on a roster after 5 years playing in the NBA. We've had this conversation before. It is an embarrassment, and the NCAA's inability to govern and to regulate. And these are grown men and women sitting, and these are our leaders. And we expect the kids in the schools to lead, and we're complaining about them. Once again, the adults never quite get it, which leads to the kid. And if that's all the kid sees, then that's all the shit that he's going to be able to spew out. Garbage in, garbage out. And the NCAA continues to do. Allowing this is embarrassment, and allowing a Texas Tech judge. God bless my Texas Tech Raider friends. I hope it happens for you. But the floodgates would open up, and allowing a guy that absolutely cannot be objective in this as an elect. You just can't. Their human nature comes in. He's not an AI. If you want to put a robot up there, fine, and program it. This ain't an AI computer judging this case. Sorsby should not be allowed to play college football this year. If he does, then I need to go back in time and forward in time and make sure that every kid bets and says that he wanted to stay close to his team gets to play college sports.
100%. It's a, like you said earlier, it's a precedent that if set, just throws any gambling rules you have out the window.
We will be referring to this forever.
Yes.
In court cases.
Yes.
When it comes to this type of betting.
And one thing we've talked about in all this NIL and the transfer portal and these professional basketball players trying to come back and play, or guys from overseas that are 26, played professionally over there for 7-8 years and now coming to play college basketball. One thing we're asking for is just a governing body to be put in place that oversees all this. If it's not the NCAA, then somebody else come up and put, I don't care if it's all the conferences get together and they put together something, but I want you to listen to this, Sean. This is Jamie Pollard, Iowa State's AD, talking about the SEC in the Big Ten, who over the last few years have brought in more teams. You know, they brought in your Trojans and Bruins and Washington Huskies, Oregon Ducks. The SEC's brought in Texas and Oklahoma and some others to make kind of these mega conferences. And they've kind of taken the lead in getting what they want because they have all the power right now in terms of the size and in the voice that they carry. But here's Iowa State's Jamie Pollard, the AD, who's in the Big 12. This is what he has to say about the Big 10 and the SEC.
3 years ago. Yeah. Let them break away. I'd say I would turn it around and say we should break away from them. Let them go, you know, but they have to go in all their sports and see how fun it is to play baseball and softball and track when it's just the 20 of you, you know, and that's what I think we should do. But I'm one person and, you know, that's probably a little more draconian, but that's how I feel about it. Like, let's quit talking about it. Quit threatening. Go do it. But if you're going to do it, you don't get to just do it in football and then keep all your other sports with us. No, take them all.
Oh, I got news for you. I got news for you. If they do that,
go the same place as me.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt you saying. I got news for you. That the Big Ten and SEC, if they do go, they're going to benefit more than those others. They're going to suffer.
That's exactly where I was.
That's number one. Number two is women's softball. Saying if he's talking about all the other sports, you know how many teams are in the super regional for women's softball?
No.
From SEC?
No.
I think I read 9 this morning. So, yeah, play well. If you're going to sell playing against the best competition week in and week out, he just sold it.
Yeah.
You want the Big Ten SEC league? You think that they're going to suffer? Hey, you don't get to play Arizona this week. Oh, well, no disrespect to Arizona
Right.
at all. Oh, okay. And you're going to play these two teams twice or in other sports. Well, the SEC, and he wants part of his reference there isn't other sports because softball's got great teams in the Big Ten, and this reference also refers to college to basketball sakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're going to lose Big 12 basketball. Yeah, great conference. No doubt. You're going to lose ACC basketball. Sure, fine. But you're also going to lose the SEC and the Big 10 that can also argue that they're in the comment for who's the national championship this year, Sakes? Who won it?
In basketball was Michigan, and in football it was Indiana.
What conference?
That's Big 10.
Right, and no disrespect. Listen, been in Big 12 country plenty of times, but much respect. But when he does that, let him go. Yeah, I'm just one guy. You're exactly right. So you probably put a zipper on it and slow it down and tell all your other buddies, say go. Because if they go, they're taking a whole bunch of money with them. So I would probably leave that alone, and television rights and everything else.
And Sean, like, if the SEC and the Big 10 were to say, we're going together to create a big college football or college sports league with our, what is it? Let's say 36 members, 18. I don't know the exact numbers of the conference.
Yeah. Pushing 40, something like that.
Yeah. How fast are the big schools like Arizona? UConn doesn't want to be sitting out there with the basketball that they have playing in the national championship of all the other. You're going to have these big schools. You're going to have Florida State, Miami, North Carolina, Duke. You don't think they want to be in the best of the best?
Here's what the from football to Davos Queen. I'm not speaking for them, but those people that he thinks in those other conferences, in his own conference in the Big 12, he's Iowa State's AD. Hell, the one that's in the same down the street from him in Iowa City may say, dude, speak for your damn self. I'm going with those cats because there's going to be more money. We're going to be on national TV more. You're going to get a chance. And because if we win a national championship over here, everybody's going to say, yeah, but you didn't play the best of the best. Right. It'll be very rare. Not saying there's not good and somebody in the big – listen, University of Houston's great basketball. Kansas, great. Mm-hmm. But you could still make the case if you're in the Big Ten and SEC saying, we pretty much play the best. Yeah. I mean, we're missing some. But football season, it's like, while there's great programs in the Big 12 and in other conferences, the Big 12, there's great programs in Division II and other places. But we're just compared to that. I don't think he would speak for everybody in the Big 12, just on the Power Four alone, in the Big 12 and the ACC. I think that he wouldn't even be able to convince them to stay in that non-go-with-them conference. They'd be bolting like a bat out of hell.
Sean, think about this for a second. You got the Big 10 in the SEC. Let's just say they both have 18 members. Again, I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me. 18 members. For college football, you set up a regular season where you're playing 9 conference games, and then your other 3 are from the SEC. Or if you're the SEC, it's 9 SEC games and then 3 Big 10 games. And then at the end, we have basically like the NFL where you have playoffs that start Big 10 and SEC, and the champion from each conference meets up in the national championship. You don't think ESPN, ABC, well, they're together, CBS, Fox are going to fight like hell to get those rights, and the amount of money they would spend to get that would be a number that we can't even comprehend at this moment.
With due respect, and like I said, hell, I got nothing but love for great ACC and Big 12 conferences. I'm going based on the athletic director at Iowa State's comments.
Yes. That's
your ESPN. Your ESPN in the fall comes around and they say, well, you got to pick a side. What side you pick? And you're not going to suffer during basketball. You're going to suffer a little bit because you want to play Kansas and you want to play UConn, and of course you do. And you want to play you want to play the best. You want to play Oklahoma. Well, Oklahoma's in the SEC, but you want to play you want to play Arizona, really good basketball. You want to play it.
Yeah.
But Segs, in truth, it's okay. Both would have some great things to offer. Who's got more to lose? And we know that answer. ACC and Big 12.
Yep.
And not all the schools would say he'd be in a much bigger fight keeping the schools in his own conference home to stay in what they're doing, as opposed to the SEC and the Big Ten having to convince people that this is a good thing. That'd be an easier convincing than him keeping teams in their own conference to stay on his side of the fence.
And then if they did do that, now, I mean, they're creating their own thing, basically, the SEC and the Big Ten. They can put together a governing body and put down a set of rules for everything that we talk about, and this is how it works. And, you know, you could change it so many ways that, you know, I almost kind of want it to happen. But in the end, you want college athletics to be college athletics, and there's nobody making decisions, it feels like, for the betterment of college sports. It's just, oh, but we need more college football playoff games. Let's put it to 24 because, well, that's more games, so that's more money. It's been perfect at 68 for years in the NCAA tournament. You know, we got a couple playing games fun. People love it. Let's add 8 more teams. Yeah. And you know, because then we got more games, which equals more money. It's just, it's all about money for whoever is making these decisions. And in the end, it comes down to, we don't have a fucking clue who's making these decisions based on, like, when Jim Harbaugh got in trouble for buying a hamburger for that one recruit. It's like, well, who made that decision? But then you got this guy over here just handing money out and he gets nothing. It just, it's never made sense for decades.
There's no common sense or organization or pathway. It's whack-a-mole, man. That's what it is. It's all over the place. It's that pinball, boom, boom, boom. When it's going all over the place, you can't find it. And you don't even know, in a thing that's supposed to be thriving, leadership. We hear the leadership. I'm not even sure who's making decisions with the leadership. I have no idea. And the reason Iowa State's athletic director can say what he said, Sigs, because he knows there's no way in hell it will ever come to that. Because his own the rest of them wouldn't stand a chance to survive it. They just wouldn't. They'd be good sports. People that we'd still watch, but we'd watch both of them. But when it got right down to true national champion, the SEC and Big Ten are going to have a bigger argument in most sports than the other ones are.
Yeah.
They just are.
100%. Something we mentioned yesterday that we're going to talk about today is Utah's head coach, Morgan Scaley, came out and he was asked about Kyle Whittingham leaving, taking the Michigan job, taking some assistants with him, taking some recruits with him, taking some current players on the roster with him through the transfer portal. And he basically said, yeah, I figured he was going to, you know, take a job somewhere. And then when Michigan opened up, you know, I thought that would be a perfect spot for him. He landed the job. He doesn't, you know, blame him for taking what he knows works with his DC. He went to BYU for the OC. He stayed in that Utah area to bring recruits. He's flipped a 5-star wide receiver from Utah to Michigan, who should have an instant impact. And he basically just says Kyle Whittingham's built for Michigan, and he doesn't blame him for anything that he did on his way out. And that's part of college sports right now. So, I mean, credit to Morgan Scaley. He knows he's got to put in work with Utah, but he knows Kyle Whittingham left him in a great spot with a great roster and a great recruiting base that Whittingham's built up over the last, 20 plus years.
No doubt. Coach Scaley's been a pretty good, loyal customer with Kyle for a while. Even the suggestion, well, did Morgan kind of edge him out? Listen, you're not edging out Kyle Whittingham. I'm sure there was differences, like with every administration and coach. After a while, some want to do it one way, some want to do it the other way, and you run into a roadblock. I told you, Segs, when it happened, I said, there's no way Kyle Whittingham's done coaching. I don't know what level. I just said, he may take a little time off and be around the family and the rest of it, but the guy's still got way too much to offer. Now, at that point in time, we didn't know Michigan's job was coming open. So and Coach Scaley knows this too. First off, let's reverse it. Whittingham's the defensive coordinator and Morgan's the head coach. And he walks, and Michigan comes and offers, and you're listening. If you walk away and want to get back in, you're listening, and more than likely you're taking it most of the time. The Mark Fuse at Gonzaga, I'd say that the Clemson with Dabble, but Clemson's a big pro. I'm just talking about with the chance to win national. Why do you think and it wasn't for the Confederate flag that Lane Kiffin left a really good Ole Miss to go in the same conference to go to LSU. At least what appears to be I don't want to say clear, but easier is not the word too, but different player path to get to the national championship. That's reality.
Mm-hmm.
And as good as Utah's been, and a lot of that, well, not a lot of it, Urban Meyer and then Kyle Whittingham built something really special there.
Yep.
He just did something extremely special. So there's no controversy here. He left. It didn't work out one place. This happens every day in work life, in your business, at hospitals, at doctors' offices, in sales. If somebody leaves because they want a better opportunity, they go. And Kyle Whittingham wanted that. And I'm going to pluck the guys I'm familiar with too. As Lane did it when he left Ole Miss, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bringing his guys. Like I in the past, and my guy from our head coach at SC, he is taking his players from guys from Oklahoma. When somebody leaves, Texas Tech or leaves, didn't our guy Sumrall take people with him?
Yep.
Went to the University of Florida. Didn't the North Texas coach take something with him to Oklahoma State?
Yep.
So you go. With what Lincoln's going to take the guys he thinks going to help him win at the next one. Kyle Whittingham's taking people that he's familiar with, that he knows what they're doing, that think like him and go. And the reason Morgan's not with him is because he's getting his first chance to be a big-time school head coach at a place he's been an assistant for a long time. And I don't blame him for staying. He should have stayed.
Yeah.
So this is much ado about nothing. Whittingham left because he still wanted to coach, and he got a great opportunity. Listen, Kyle had no idea when he was at Utah in his final few days before he decided to walk away from Utah that Michigan's job was coming open. Okay. And then it did. It's like, damn, I just won Powerball. They want to offer me the job. Yeah. And we've also said that if 15 other jobs came open, if you were LSU and you didn't get Lane Kiffin, you should have interviewed Kyle Whittingham. If you were USC and Lincoln Riley, you should have interviewed Kyle Whittingham. Of course, there's a handful of those cats around that when a job opens up, hell, if all of a sudden Ole Miss opened up after Pete left, or if he went to somewhere else, and you don't call Eli at Missouri with what he's done with that program and say, man, what would he do with a program that's got a better opportunity to recruit even? Of course you would. So we all like familiarity. We all like going with people we trust. Kyle Whittingham did that. It ain't exactly like he left Utah to drop down to Division III to coach in front of 7,000 people. Good football at Division III, not quite Michigan or Utah football. So with that in mind, there's no story here. There's no story. Maybe the story is maybe that it was time. And think about how long Kyle was there, a tenured coach there. At the time, one of, if not the longest in Division Power 4 schools. I think he was the longest. I might be wrong, but pretty Gundy before him was pretty long. Close. Right. And so guy left for it. Then another opportunity came up. He's like, man, I'm in my 60s. Why the hell wouldn't I want to go coach, man? It's Michigan. As good as Utah's been, year in and year out, just like I said, from LSU to Ole Miss, as good as Utah's been, who gives you, just in recruiting and what you're going to spend alone, where do you get more opportunity? Michigan example. Or Utah to win a national championship?
I'm glad you said that because I was just looking it up. Utah's recruiting since 2020, when Kyle Whittingham was there, always ranked between 35 and 45 in the classes that came out. We know,
which speaks to a great job by their staff of the way they coached him up to get all of that out of him. Right.
In early returns, once he was hired after the Sharon Moore thing, it took them a little bit of time to get rolling in the recruiting. I mean, they got good amount of transfer portal kids, which you like, and he flipped the one kid from Utah to Michigan, the 5-star wide receiver. But over the last, 3 weeks, let's say, he's been on a roll at Michigan. He currently right now has, I think it's 17th ranked recruiting class. And there's rumors of a few more 5-stars that are flipping, going away from LSU or Notre Dame. They just landed a big receiver out of Chicago for next year's class. Now all of a sudden they're 17th, and they think with a couple of the recruits they're going to jump to like 7th.
They're going to be in the top 10 every year. They just are.
Now give Kyle Whittingham,
right,
who turns 35 to 45, into either college football playoff or damn near close to it. What's he going to do with Michigan's NIL money and their recruiting base? Right. Put them together, and he's got top 5, top 10 classes every year. you think the sky's the limit for someone like Kyle Whittingham.
Things going into the season. Now, it doesn't always work. It's like schedules. We're excited they played. Oh, that's a tough schedule. And then we find out one of those teams sucks the first 6 weeks of an NFL schedule, and they're 2-4. But going into it every year, advantage Michigan over Utah just on the sheer. That doesn't mean Coach Scally can't do a great job at Utah and win. Kyle had him in great position, felt like every year, one of the more physical teams in the country. Just going in alone, you got a head start at Michigan, at Ohio State, at LSU. In the past, it's been Florida, at Southern Cal. I mean, we got to do more with it there. At Oregon, whether it's the money, the NIL, how a guy recruits, success of the program, facilities, all those things. Texas Tech has started to catapult. So, listen, even if you're a Utah alum, you give thanks that Kyle Whittingham busted his ass and could have left 15 other times, and he could have, Segs.
Yeah.
And I've known Kyle a long time. There was plenty of other jobs he could have had if he decided. He was a Utah guy, and when I don't want to say fell apart, it just kind of decided it was time. We talk about speeches getting, it was time, and you kind of need Kyle's been a BYU, Salt Lake City guy. He went to BYU as an undergrad, and Salt Lake City has coached and all that, and his dad was a hell of a coach in the NFL, Fred Whittingham, all of that. He stepped out, and he's now in Ann Arbor after all this time. I say count your blessings that you had him for that long, and Michigan's getting one hell of a coach. Morgan Scalley's getting his opportunity to coach and see if he can do what Kyle did and take it one step further. We'll see. I don't see how you can ever complain when a guy leaves for a job like Michigan. And if Kyle didn't leave throwing stones at Utah, saying Kyle Whittingham has always been a firm, competitive guy. He's left for a better opportunity, and you can't blame him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a no-brainer that he took that job. Real quick before we get out of here, Bailey had this on the rundown. I think it's really interesting because it shows the stupidity of some, even in this business we work in, Sean. This is Colin Cowherd talking about how he believes the NFL is punishing Sean Payton for years past by giving the Broncos a tough schedule. Here's exactly what Colin Cowherd had to say on his show.
It's interesting. Who are they punishing? And I believe this. I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I believe this. I think Sean Payton has a mixed relationship with the league office. He's taken shots at quarterbacks. He's taken Russell Wilson. He's taken shots at coaches. NFL does not like friendly fire. Zip it. Look at Denver's schedule. They're punishing them. The first 6 games, that's the toughest 6-game schedule I have ever seen in my life, and I'm a geek on this stuff. I am a nerd on schedules. I've never seen anything like that. At Chiefs, Jags, Rams, at Niners, at Chargers, at Seahawks. They could have thrown an Arizona game in there, a Panthers game in there. They could have thrown that Steeler game in there, the Raider game in there. Nope. Front heavy with Bo Nix coming off a surgery. I believe, again, I'm not a conspiracy guy, but I think Sean Payton has irked a few people. He's been outspoken, a little friendly fire sometimes in the league. That feels like they're trying.
Okay, Sanks, listen, I don't for 1 second doubt. Sean likes to get his digs in.
Yeah.
Are we on? We're good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Sean likes to get his digs in, and there's been some friendly fire that I'm sure that NFL offices don't like. But should I stand in line for how many of those are? Now I want you to do the Rams' last part of their schedule.
Right.
Didn't you read that 2 days ago, Sanks, or Monday? Yesterday or last Friday?
Yeah, whenever we talk schedule, maybe it was last Friday, but the Rams schedule was just ridiculous at the end.
Yeah, I mean, we went through it. It's like, how do you – like it was because I said, if they survive that, they're not getting home field advantage because that's just – you can't win. I mean, all those – they're going to – so is Sean McVay, are they mad at him?
Right.
Are they mad at him? Are they
just
mad at
for
Buffalo
everybody,
and your team for playing both holidays? Yeah, give me the final if you got it. The final games that we talked about.
Here is week 12 on for the Los Angeles Rams. Home against Green Bay, home against Kansas City, who doesn't get Kansas City in week 1 like Denver Broncos, where Mahomes is coming off an ACL, and he may not even play. It might be just
healthy by then.
He'll be fully healthy and back going by then. You travel to San Francisco, home against Dallas and their high-flying offense, at the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, at Tampa Bay, who had a really good year last year until the end, and then you finish against the reigning Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks at home. So you play them 2 times in the last 3 weeks. So yeah,
I
you
don't
can
know.
miss me on this kind of conspiracy. He says it's
Maybe-
not a conspiracy. It's just bullshit out of his mouth.
Here's what I say.
Like normal.
They just hate the name. They hate Sean's. Hate
Yeah.
Sean McVay.
Yeah, there you go.
Hate
Maybe
McVay.
they hate you.
Yeah, they can guarantee they do. I don't know. But they hate Sean's who spell it right as well.
Right.
He
Yeah,
spells it right.
All
McVay
spelled
spells
the
it right.
same.
Salisbury spells it right. The masculine Sean Connery way. That's how we spell it. I'm just kidding to those who spell it S-H-A-U-N. I'm no Sean Cassidy or S-H-A-W-N. Good for you. But this is the right spelling. So maybe Colin's on to something, but it's not the scheduling or because he throws friendly fire, which he does. Colin is a nerd about this stuff because he loves this, and he's brilliant, but he says some stuff to get what we're doing, get a reaction. Because while there may be, let's get a little dig in with this game, you can't roll through 6 or 7 games, say, let's stick it to him here, stick it to him here. And then tell me at the end of the season, you're not throwing what? Are they mad at Sean McVay because he thought about going to broadcasting? So no, it's Colin's on to one thing, but they just don't like Sean's as opposed to they just don't like the friendly fire that Sean Payton. Sean's always going to get some digs in. Sean's great at getting his, zingers in. There is no question about it. But
can we talk
I don't
about
think
the
they
stretch?
punished him with the schedule.
Yeah. Can we talk about the stretch of Arizona, Kansas City, Carolina by Raiders, Steelers, Dolphins, Jets, Raiders? Can we talk about that stretch in the middle where, you would be favored in all the games because, the Kansas City game is home, so you should be favored in that game, assuming everybody's healthy?
Yeah, you make the point about the injury to Bo Nix forcing it in, but you make the injury, well, you may not be even playing with Mahomes. Who knows?
Right.
You should, but you never know if he's even going to be fully healthy in the first time they play, right?
Yeah.
More than likely he won't be. He may be healthy enough to play, but that full health and confidence you're rolling through will be tough to get. So Colin's on it. I get it. It makes for great TV fodder, but if you're going to do Peyton, you better do McVay at the end. So
we could do this with
maybe
a
they just hate
bunch
the
of
West
schedules.
Coast Sean's. I don't know.
Yeah. And let's
There you
also
go.
remember, sometimes a lot of these schedules look tough, and then we get to the end of the season. It's like, oh, they had the easiest schedule in reality because a lot of teams, we see the NFL flip a lot with teams come in, a team nobody was expecting the Panthers to be good last year, and there they are fighting. I know they're in a bad division, but fighting for a playoff spot. There's teams that come up and surprise you. Nobody thought the Colts were going to do what the Colts did the first 3 quarters of the season before some injuries happened and kind of knocked them down.
Skeggs, you didn't have the Seahawks in the Super Bowl either.
Exactly.
As good as they were. So, yeah, this is great TV fodder, but the fact of the matter is, on paper, it's a tough schedule. But they're also going to get a break after that, and the Rams are going to take over a bunch of stuff at the end of the season to have to keep them alive in a brutal NFC West division.
Right. And
3 of those teams are Super Bowl contenders.
Let's also mention the fact that this is how the NFL does schedules. You get first place in your division, you play 2 divisions outside of your own, you play all 4 teams, and then you get the first place finishers of every other division.
So you can only control some of it on a dig. You can maybe a game or 2. You don't get to control the whole schedule and say, let's get it, Sean Payton. So it makes for good fodder because we're talking about it. So.
This goes for, the Chargers, I think, did they finish 3rd in that division last year, still make the playoff? I can't remember exactly how it worked. But there's some really good.
Well, no. Let's see. No, they would have finished 2nd in the division because
second. Yeah.
Raiders and Chiefs. Chiefs didn't make the playoffs, neither the Raiders. Chargers were the 2nd place team in the division.
Well, okay, but let's say use the Chiefs or the Lions who finished 3rd in their division. They get a 3rd place schedule this year because now everybody expects them to bounce back, those 2 teams, when Mahomes is healthy. The Lions just getting back fully healthy and going with their offense in year 2 without Ben Johnson. So they get to play an easier schedule on paper because they finished worse last year. This is how it looks for every first place team. They've got a tough ass schedule going into because of how good they did the year before. It's not because
the way the league's set up.
Any bias against the coach or
you can dislike friendly fire and still be honorable about the schedule beating the NFL, right? So he's right on part of it. Sean will get his zingers in, like I said, he does, and he's great at it. But I'm going to take it conspiracy theory further, even though he's not. It's the guys who spell their name S-P-A-N. They just don't like NFL guys like that. Sweat
I
it.
agree with that.
Coach his name, Sean.
I agree with that. Just checking here to see if there's any breaking news before we get out of here. I don't see anything that stands out. So that'll do it for today's show. Tomorrow we'll talk, more football. I'm sure we'll get some more, fodder on this.
McChesney's on tomorrow, isn't he, Segs?
And then,
Matt McChesney going to join us, and we'll talk
McChesney.
Denver Broncos and what Colin
perfect.
Coward said about it and see if he agrees.
Yeah, he'll join us at 1:30 Eastern, 12:30 Central. Just like
JB had some business on Monday, guys. JB will be back with us on Monday.
Yeah.
Next week. JB had some stuff. I mean, that big yacht he's on and stuff. So
yeah,
he works hard. And congratulations to JB, Bailey, and Smitty and the rest of them on the show. They do a great job. They got 100,000 up to 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is awesome. They've been grinding for years to get it done.
Them, yes.
And boom, they did it. So congrats to them. And JB will be back with us on Monday. We'll have a lot to talk about with JB on Monday. But when you got a yacht, dude, you got to tend to it sometimes. What are you going to do?
You're out there just big pimping, just.
Oh, there is no doubt about that. He doesn't get cheated on the big pimping, I promise.
No, not at all. So Matt McChesney will join us tomorrow at 12:30, talking all things football. We'll continue football talk again. Keep you up to date on this Brendan Sorsby situation, which, we should get little nuggets throughout the next, month or so on what's going on. Because, again, he has to file for the supplemental draft by June 27th. So
I'm going to do a lot of betting today just to feel close to somebody, Segs.
Yeah. I mean,
Indiana quarterback. I'm going to bet on something just to feel close.
I'm going to see if I can set something up with like Kalshi and do like how many minutes of total showtime will we run, throughout a week. And then I'm going to bet on it just to feel connected to the show.
Well, I'm going to bet double or triple because I want to feel even just as connected to you and the show. So I got to feel connected to both and to Bailey, to Laura.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, but it's not about the money, Six, because everybody loves losing money.
Connected.
It's just about connection and, well, you want to buy a loaf of bread.
And if you're looking for something to bet on, I hear Turkish basketball and Romanian soccer. I mean, it's
studying the tape today. I got to tell you, I'm going to study all. Let's see, in football, be all 22, and basketball, all 10. I'm going to study all 10.
Yeah,
Six.
all 10.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to get out there and follow that Turkish basketball because it's so a great competition out there in Turkey.
Awesome. Can't wait.
Get over to YouTube at UNPAVED Sean Salisbury. Like and subscribe. Get all the notifications for when we go live Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern every single day. Follow Sean at Sean Unfiltered, myself at Adam G. Sager. Thanks to Bailey and Laura who do all the behind-the-scenes stuff, everything on social media, everything on YouTube. Always looks and sounds great. And then to our viewers, listeners, and commenters, we'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central. Talk to you guys later. Peace.
UNPAVED Sean Salisbury here. We're bringing authentic, real stuff to you. Hardcore opinion.
John Salisbury, a great NFL analyst, a former NFL quarterback.